Algebra 1, Section 7.1, we're dealing with graphing linear systems. So basically, what you're going to be dealing with all of Chapter 7 is not how to solve one equation, but how to solve two equations. Now, it's not solving two separate equations, but it's solving an equation that has the same answers. So now, you're not only solving for just x, because remember in prior equations, if you solve for an equation, you can solve a maximum of one variable. So you can solve for x or you can solve for y, whatever is missing. In this case, we're going to solve for both x and y using two equations. We're going to start off with graphing. When I say solve, that means the answer that we have can apply to both equations. So the x is the same and the y is the same in the both equations. So by graphing, basically, you're going to be doing the same thing you did when you graphed lines, except in this case, you're going to graph the two equations on the same line, and wherever they overlap, that's the answer they have in common, and that is the one answer that they both share. Okay? For example, let's look at the first one right here. X plus y equals -2. Now, in order for us to graph this, remember, just a quick review, we need to put it into y equals mx plus b form. We're going to start at b, and then we're going to move to our m. So this is y equals mx plus b. In order for us to solve, I'm going to move everything to one side of the to the other side of the equation except y. See how y is by itself? So in order for me to do that, I'm going to subtract x from both sides. I end up with y equals, and because the number that's attached to x goes in front, I'm going to put it in front, negative x minus 2. Okay? So, I've put this in y equals mx plus b form. Once that happens, then I can graph it. This is where I start. So this is my x, and this is my y. So my b is where I start in the y-intercept. Okay? So that means I want to start at -2, and I'm going to move. Now remember, the invisible number in front of x is 1. So my slope is 1. And every time we have a whole number, in order to make it into a fraction, because our slope is a fraction, is over 1. If you have a confusion on how to graph this, go back to the section that deals with graphing equations. Okay? And I'll put a link down below. So, we have -1 over 1. So that means I'm going to go down 1 over 1. Oh, sorry, starting from the dot, I'm going to go down 1 over 1. I'm going to go down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. Okay? And if I want to go opposite, then I'm going to go opposite. If I went down, I'm going to go up 1 and then back 1. Up 1, then back 1. Sorry, up 1, then back 1. 1, then back 1. Okay? This one I'm going to want more than 2 points. I'm going to want a lot of points. You're going to want to do this on a graph paper because you want it more exact. Okay? Let's try the next line. So basically, I'm just doing the next line twice. So I'm going to graph the next line. 2x minus 3y equals -9. So now again, I want to move everything to the other side. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I end up with -3y equals, because the number in front of the x gets attached first, I'm going to go -2x minus 9. Alright? So from here, I have to detach -3 and y, because I want to leave y there, but I want to get rid of -3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by -3. Now remember, when I'm dividing with plus and minuses on the other side, I need to make sure to divide every term. Okay? So this cancels out, and I end up with -2 over -3x. Okay? And then -9 over -3. Okay? I take the 3 and I give it to the -2 and I give it to the -9. So that's how I get it. Now I can reduce. So -2 over -3 is same thing as +2 over 3. So 2 over 3x. And then negative and negative give me a positive. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So this is telling me that I'm going to start at 3. 1, 2, 3, 3. and then I'm going to go up 2 over 3. So up 2 over 3. Now, the answer is going to be somewhere here, right? Because this line is here, this line is nowhere here, so I can't keep going up, so I have to go backwards. So in order to go backwards, to go this way, I just have to do the opposite. Since I was going up 2 here, I'm going to go down 2, and I'm going to go over 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And then down 2 over 3. So again, it's a little hard because it's not exact. This point here, if I wanted to go from this point, I'd go up 1 over 1. So this would be the next point. This is the point where they overlap. So when it's asking me to solve, I'm looking for an answer. Let me get a color. When it's asking me to solve, I'm looking for an answer where they both have in common, and that's a point that they both have in common. So that means that I'm going to go ahead and find that point. That point is negative 3 up 1. So my answer is, what does this point mean? It means if I plug negative 3 in for x and 1 in for y for both of these equations, okay, it should give me the answer. So let's check. Negative 3, okay, so I'm going to plug it in for x plus y equals negative 2. So negative 3, I'm going to put here. I'm going to check the answer. Okay, x plus y plus 3, so negative 3 plus y, which is 1, equals negative 2. Negative 3 plus 1, negative 2 equals negative 2. Check. Okay? Same thing should go for the other side. If I do 2 times negative 3, this is 2y minus 3y equals negative 9. Okay? Check. 2 times negative 3 minus 2x, sorry. Okay, minus 3 times 1 should give me negative 9. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3 equals negative 9. I end up with negative 6 minus negative 3. Negative 9 equals negative 9. Check. So this is not part of solving the problem. This is just to show you and to check to see if your answer is right. So let's say if you're not sure, your graph is a little bit off. If you can plug it in and it makes it true for both equations, then this is in fact my answer. So this is just to check the work, but my answer is negative 3, 1. Okay? So go ahead and try page 390, number 2. I'm going to put it down here. So page 390, number 2. And again, if you're not sure, go ahead and check. But this is my solution, and I'm going to do here. So I'm going to number this so you don't get confused. So first, we graph this, then we graph this, then this is our solution, and then we checked. Right? So go ahead and try page 390, number 2, and I'll see you in class.